Alright, so as I was saying before, guys, apologies that the battery camera died on me while I was doing the second part, or the first part of this video. But without further ado, my friends, I was talking it before, I will say it again. I don't know if it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday, probably Friday if I do to release this thing, and granted, they're going to be there for 3 days. I think it's by the time Thursday, if not Thursday, I think Friday or Saturday, I think is when E3 is completely finished. And after that, you got to wait all the way till next month, which is going to be any brand new news information that either comes from Gamescom, and if not Gamescom, we're more than likely going to be getting information, not just for SmashBros Pokemon, Let's Go Pokemon Sword and Shield. We're either going to get it, if not at Gamescom, information by then. Probably going to get some at Tokyo Game Show or the Video Game Awards. Just by then, by the time Video Game Awards even start, the game's probably going to be out by then. But as I said before, I'll say it again, I was reading a little bit of Breath of the Wild, so I'm going to continue where I left off. If you didn't see part 1 of this video, links in the description box down below, and that's the title of the screen. And here we go again. So, it says also Link was riding a gigantic horse / elephant or rhino type animal. Very excited. Like I said in the first part, I'm not hating on anyone that really loves playing builder simulators like The Sims or Animal Crossing or Zoo Tycoon and shit like that, but it's not my type of game. It hasn't been since way back in the day when I was about just barely hitting my teen years, about 13, 14 years old, so about 2002, 03. I think it was 2002 when it came out, so there's that. But I'm going to read it for you. For any of my subscribers and main viewers that do love Animal Crossing. And, yeah, I know this has nothing to do with the video, but the other day, by the time I'm recording this video, it's either going to be Thursday or Friday by the time both of these videos are up, I got a little bit of a fucking scare. I don't know what the fuck happened because I'm not sure if the YouTube algorithm decided to do it or an actual YouTube employee, which is a human, which I doubt that would have been the case. I don't know, they automatically decided to sign me out. I don't know why this happens. Every 3 fucking months for some reason, the YouTube algorithm like signs me out. But this time when I tried to sign back in, I'm thinking to myself, oh fuck, that's it, my channel's terminated, it's gone forever. Which inevitably, as scary as that is, it's probably bound to happen. I don't hope it doesn't happen because I know I got 2 other backup accounts just in case it does happen. Which there's no people that are subbed to me though over there, but just in case my channel ever gets shut down one day, just letting you know I do got 2 backup channels as well, and then I do got not a D-Live, but a Bitmeo. I forget what it's called. I know I got a BitChute account as well. So just in case you don't follow me over there if you can. And of course I got a Twitter and Instagram, but you can't really do that many videos on those things. They only give you like 1 or 2 minutes to do it for Twitter, and then like less than 10 minutes if you use Instagram TV or IGTV. But let's keep it moving. Just in case if this channel ever shuts down, you know where else to find me. So here we go. Animal Crossing has been delayed. Bad news for you guys. Nintendo has previously said that Animal Crossing will be available this year in 2019. Sadly, that is no longer the case. Today Nintendo announced that Animal Crossing New Horizons will be released on March 20th of 2020. Not a massive delay, but significant nonetheless. The game is being delayed to ensure that the game hits the quality levels Nintendo requires. We got an additional look at the game today at Nintendo's E3 Direct. Nintendo Direct, there we go. Say that 3 times, this shit is such a tongue twister. And it does look like the game is en route and hitting those quality levels. And the new footage released today, we get to see the gameplay in all of its glory. Fishing, gardening, and crafting. Shit I honestly don't care for. You already know in the first part of this video I was extremely hyped as fuck. One of my all-time absolute top 5 greatest platformer scroller video game mascots during the mid-late 90s, which was, besides Crash Bandicoot Spyro Dragon, obviously I would have lost my shit even harder because I've only played like a few levels and demos when I used to like go over to my cousin's house back when I was still living in New York before I moved out here to this shithole desert. Before I went out here, oh my god, I used to go like every weekend to her place to play some old school N64 and a little bit of Dreamcast occasionally, because I know she had a Dreamcast too. I didn't have that. I really wish I would have though, because it only lasted for like 2 years and then it shut down and Sega never did a console again. for the past about 4 years, I think since 2014 or 2015, so maybe like 5, 6 years at this point, Sega's always been teasing that they might do a Dreamcast 2, but at this point, I give up on Sega for ever making a console again. They'll probably still be making games and shit, and they'll probably still be making like remakes and rehashes like we saw earlier, about 2 days ago, when we saw that they're bringing out a really old school Sega Genesis like thing called Paragon Dragoon. Never heard of that game before, so I was wondering, like, what is this game? Is it like another Monster Hunter sequel, or is it like I don't know, like any other MMORPG of a Tales of sort of game, or a fucking anime JRPG that we get, or a new Fire Emblem, or I'm thinking to myself, I have no idea what this is, but then again, I didn't have any of the Sega consoles growing up. I didn't have Sega Saturn, or Sega 32-bit, or Sega fucking Genesis, or Sega Dreamcast, unfortunately. So unfortunately, a lot of Sega games I did miss on. But I did play about maybe 1 or 2, but that was probably it. So let's keep it moving. Banjo-Kazooie and Smash, and I totally forgot to mention that those 4 other guys are gonna be in Dragon Quest IV. That's literally the closest we'll ever get to a Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super character. Literally the fucking closest we're ever getting. Period. Which I'm cool as fuck with that. Honestly, I am. Granted, I've never played any of the other Dragon Quest games, but I was at least happy that we got some sort of like representation from one of Akira Toriyama's characters, or any of his other producers or artists that created this game over the past years, since like the 90s, early 2000s. Unless the dude that has the sword in his hand, he literally looks, the first one that they show in the beginning of that trailer, he almost looks like Trunks a little bit. So in a way, he kind of looks like my second favorite Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super character, so that's pretty awesome. The one where he has the sword and shit. So the one where, you know, he slices up Frieza into like a million pieces. Any people never saw the original Dragon Ball Z series, you gotta do yourself a big favor and please watch that whole series, man. So in a way, I was still pretty happy that he was in there. And then the other 2 next to him, the other kids that look like Akira Toriyama's characters from Dragon Ball Z, but it's something else, which is what's it called, Dragon Quest VIII. And this is like a definitive addition to that game too. So any hardcore Dragon Quest fans, you guys must have been jumping out of your seat when you saw this. I wish I could have been jumping on my seat too, but since I never had no experience with the games, unfortunately, I wasn't really super excited or jumping out of my seat, which I really wish I could have. But it intrigued me a little bit. I remember the first thing I said is like, is that fucking Trunks from Dragon Ball Z? And I look at his hair, I was like, no, it's not him. But it almost looks a lot like his character. He's like Trunks, but with green hair and some like Legend of Zelda looking sword or something. And he's got like these old ass robes instead of like a Super Saiyan or Capsule Corporation suit. But I was happy with it. That was cool. I'd rather have that over something that's going to be something I don't give 0 shits about. Anyways, let's keep it moving. It's been a long time coming, but you know I absolutely, literally almost had a fucking heart attack when I saw Banjo-Kazooie on there. In a good way. Because my god, there's so many beautiful nostalgic feels hit me like a ton of fucking bricks when I saw this thing. And I was super happy when I saw it. Banjo-Kazooie's coming out. But finally, this has happened. Banjo-Kazooie is coming to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on a Nintendo Switch as revealed by Nintendo E3 Direct. It's long been one of those characters additions that's made a complete sense. But there's always been some obstacles. Since Microsoft owned Rare, the company that made the games originally, Nintendo didn't have the rights to reproduce, which is kind of weird the way you say it like that, the character on a game solely designed for Nintendo consoles. But they're not alone. In conjunction in the Western releases of Dragon Quest VIII, I think that's what it's called, Nintendo is also bringing across characters during the game to Smash. Banjo-Kazooie is coming to Smash in fall of 2019. And also, I do gotta say this. When I looked at all the compilations and reactions of other people reacting to it last night, fucking pure gold. I loved it. Kind of made me wish I was still doing reaction videos. If you would have seen me go absolute ham when this guy was announced, I cried a little bit. It would have been the very first time you guys saw me cry, but tears of joy though. Not sadness or pain or depression. Anyways, Luigi's Mansion 3. Let's get on to the next part. Luigi's Mansion is low-key one of the most underrated Nintendo franchises. We get a fresh look at Luigi's Mansion 3, the latest of the series, and looks fantastic. In addition to the usual gameplay, we've come to expect what we've come to expect. Luigi's Mansion 3 has found new ways for Luigi to interact with the world. A cool new plunger thing that lets you rip stuff up from the game's environment, and perhaps most importantly, going as a green ghostly version of Luigi that allows you to solve puzzles into the game's world. After the Nintendo Direct, I got the chance to play a bunch of Luigi's Mansion 3 games. It's tactical, beautiful, and just fun to engage with. I can't wait for this one. Nintendo, I almost said Nintendos. I don't know why I said it like that. Also revealed a 4-player co-op mode. The game is set to release in late 2019, so it's either October, November, more than likely, or early December. It is probably going to be a AAA game, possibly, so everyone loves Luigi. Everyone loves Mario. Super Mario franchise has had a literal, not stranglehold, but a huge grasp within the video game industry since literally 1978. Since the arcade days. And in the 80s, too, so obviously everyone loves the fuck out of Luigi, too. To be honest, when I was a 90s kid, I actually did like Luigi a lot more than Mario, even though it was a little bit more of a scary cat sort of chicken shit version compared to Mario was, where he was the brave, hardcore badass, maybe shorter than his brother Luigi, but still didn't take shit from anybody. That's why he always kicked Bowser's ass all the time after he saved Princess Peach. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. Next one, we got No More Heroes 3. Fans of the Travis Touchdown were rewarded with a new No More Heroes game for the Nintendo Switch. It's being developed by Grasshopper, and while we didn't get a glimpse of gameplay, it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I've never played the first Travis Touchdown No More Heroes 1 or 2, so I'm not really familiar with this game. I remember last year when I heard about it for the first Travis Touchdown, when I first heard about this game, I was like, it looks decent. It looks pretty cool. It looks something from the, once again, it looks a little nostalgia to me, like from the late 90s, early 2000s, sort of old school, like top-down, tabletop, sort of like top-down, sort of overworld sort of gameplay. It looks like something I would have given from Sega or Capcom, Konami, or Activision, or even fucking what else? What else is a video game industry like company that was really, really big out there? Square Enix. It would look something like that from way back in the late 90s, very early 2000s when they were on top of the world at that time with arcade games. That's the kind of vibes that I get from Travis Touchdown, so I'm not going to say it's a piece of garbage game. I'm not going to say it's the best game in the world, because I did hear a lot of people say, and I've seen this on a couple even Twitch streams, which I barely even go on Twitch, and the YouTube streams for YouTube Gaming. Like, I've seen people play it. There's a lot of fucking shitty, glitchy bugs in that game. It's really fucking bad. Load times are fucking horrible, and it looks garbage as fuck when you try to like play the entire game within one setting. It's not a good look. So hopefully they fix all the bugs and glitches for this Travis Touchdown No More Heroes 3. Hopefully they do. Because I'm kind of glad I didn't have a Switch at the time, where I would have wasted a lot of money on that fucking game. Anyways, this one was from Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening looks amazing, absolutely amazing. Everyone already knows what Link's Awakening is already. I had to get a drink there because my throat is going fast. Yeah, everyone already knows Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda, another hugely house-held name of an iconic, ginormous, cataclysmically huge franchise for Nintendo. It's a heavy hitter. Even to this day, people know what it is. Even in prior grandparents probably might know Legend of Zelda is. Who knows? It's like Super Mario and Pac-Man. So it says, as someone who played and adored the original Link's Awakening to the original Nintendo Game Boy Color, not Game Boy. This looks like a faithful rework on every possible level. It retains the charming status of the original, but the new art style looks to elevate it into something truly special in its own right. Perhaps in the most newsworthy part, Link's Awakening has some sort of dungeon creator. It does look like it allows players to design their own dungeons seamlessly. Looks like it could provide a lot of replay value to those who begin to blast through the main quest quickly. Posted in Nintendo Direct, I spent a decent amount of time with Link's Awakening. It looks glorious, feels super familiar, but it's involved enough to feel like a brand new game in its best possible way. A lot of old games coming to the Switch. Since its console is portable, it always feels significant when Nintendo brings classics to Nintendo Switch. at the Nintendo Direct, it was announced that The Witcher 3 and Aliens Isolation were en route. Personally, I cannot wait to play The Witcher 3 on the bus and Alien Isolation completely curled up under the bed. To be honest with you, I already said this shit about the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, a lot of really older shit like Empire of Sieges or Stages, whatever the fuck it's called. A lot of these big giant MMORPG sort of games, even though it has like a single player campaign mode with it, and it's not like, oh, it's everything like Call of Duty where you gotta play a whole bunch of other people and shit. No. Games like this, even Dark Souls and Bloodborne, even though I didn't like them in the beginning like 2 years ago until I started watching a bunch of Let's Plays literally last year, it started growing on me finally. I'm not real super crazy about stuff like The Witcher 3 because shit doesn't gravitate towards me. It really doesn't resonate with me at all. To be honest, 110% honest with you people, I just don't care too much for games like this. It has a lot of action, has a lot of adventure, don't get me wrong on any of that. Definitely has a lot of good ass story origin plot scenes into this game too, but I don't know, for some reason I just can never get into games like that for some reason. It's kind of like watching a movie. Even though you get to play most of the things, most of the stuff in this game, you obviously get to control it yourself. Except for the cutscenes, of course. It's not like a complete movie game where you're just doing like shit like stuff from Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls, or it's like a game where you pretty much barely playing the game at all and you're just mainly talking to people more than you are controlling the character. It's nothing like that bad, but at the same time, I don't know. This is a game, it's hard for me to get into the games like that because they take hours, maybe days, weeks, or even fucking months to beat by the time you're done with it. So there's that. I don't hate the game, but I don't like the game either. Alien Isolation, that's different because I did like all three of those movies when they came out way back in the late 80s, early mid-late 90s. That shit was super cool. But The Witcher, I don't know. It's just, I'm not really too sure about it. For you guys that like The Witcher 3, that's really, really awesome. You now get to play it on the go. And you know, it's probably going to be a lot more lower resolution. It's not going to be higher H3, 4K, 8K, Ultra sort of resolution since it's a lot more of a smaller, tinier, weaker engine compared to the Sony PS4 Pro or the Microsoft Xbox One X. But hey, if you want to play it on the go, or if you're going to events like E3 or Comic-Con or Gamescom or any sort of huge giant convention or even like a concert that you want to go to, and you want to play with your Nintendo Switch on the go, you're a real huge fan of Witcher 3 and you gotta have it at that particular official fucking time, whatever the cost, then it's probably for you. So Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3. This one was pretty cool. I like this. Finally a Marvel game that looks decent. I don't know why I said it like that. It's freaky. Marvel's Ultimate Alliance 3 is far more styled. A far more stylist Marvel game. I don't even know how to fuck this. This person does not know how to make fucking articles. I swear to God. I'm sorry, they don't. It's also far more of a known quantity, giving its third. It's the third in a series that stretches back literally years. We sort of know what to expect with this one. A multiplayer top-down beat-em-up style game. Could be worse. All of other E3's press conferences is EA, Microsoft, PC Gamer, Ubisoft, Banduar's Gate 3. There's that. I don't know what that is. Square Enix, and then there's there's Ubisoft and Bethesda and all those other guys. Let's get straight to the point here. Overall thoughts, views, and opinions. Oh, let me talk about the other games they didn't show on here. They didn't talk about Daemon X Machina, which they should have. Even though, granted, I'm not a huge fan of that series either, because mecha animes are like barely one of the two animes I never really got hugely into, except for like the Gundam Seed era and maybe like Eureka 7. That's probably the only two animes that are. Oh, and then there was another one. Oh, I forgot what it was called. I think it was called Lady Something. I don't know. But other than that, let me talk about it. There's a couple other ones they didn't talk about there, which is kind of weird. Kind of intrigues me that they didn't talk about it on CNET. Or even GameSpot. Maybe in GameSpot and IGN they probably talked about it. Whole bunch of other indie games they didn't talk about. Lucky's Tale looks pretty kick-ass. Reminds me a lot of how Conker's Bad Fur Day would have been, but like a child-friendly version of it without the adult sexual jokes in there. And then there was a couple other ones which I'm trying to fucking remember off the top of my head. I talked about it in the first one. The Mario vs. Sonic Tokyo 2020 looks pretty kick-ass. You know, I'm not a really huge sports fan of anything, but it is what it is. I'm still cool with it. And Rouge the Bat's still in there too, so that's definitely big brownie points there. Hell yes. What else that was in there was really, really good with the Nintendo Directs? I think the only other two games I was real hyped for, they showed a lot more extra trailer stuff with Platinum Games' newest video game, which is Astral Chain, like they did in the March or April's Nintendo Direct a couple months ago. And another thing I was very, very hyped for, if I had to be super hyped about something, the fucking Breath of the Wild 2. Everyone was pretty much hyped about that. I think we can all agree we were all super excited and extremely overhyped as shit when Nintendo officially fucking announced Breath of the Wild Part 2. At first I thought it was going to be another DLC expansion pack, but when they said it at the end, because at first I honestly wasn't one super excited about it until it said, oh, we are currently in development for Breath of the Wild 2. That's when I lost my shit a second time, right after I was done watching and reacting to fucking Banjo-Kazooie being announced for Smash. That's still a fucking mind blown, dude. My fucking beautiful badass bear with my ostrich girl, Banjo and Kazooie, and fucking Smash Bros Ultimate, man. I could smile on my face all fucking day and I would love it, man. Absolute fucking perfection to the D. Perfection at its fullest right there. And I know even when I watched a bunch of other people's reactions, even a few grown men in their late 20s, early mid-30s, they were crying over it, bro. And I'll give them a pass. That's man tears right there. I could give them the pass for that shit. Because I know I did a little bit too. I was tearing up myself. I'll admit it, bro. Anyways. Let's talk about the other stuff I really give a shit about. Obviously, there was Animal Crossing I didn't really care for. New Horizons. It sucks that it got pushed to March 20th of 2020. But hopefully Animal Crossing guys understand. The only thing that disappointed me about this Direct is that, number one, there was no Bayonetta 3 news still. That's still completely in the dark. I don't know why. There's no updates to fucking... I wish there would have been updates for it. Honestly, I would have been. Like, even though the game hasn't come out yet, I would still love to see it no matter what. The Mario Maker 2 shit. I want to see some more updates for that shit. I really, really wanted to see... fuck. The one thing that really punched me in the balls about this Direct I didn't like is... there was not even not only was no fucking announcement, at least they should have did it for this. No announcement for Nintendo Switch Mini. That was completely left in the dark. So, still got no news for that. Or Nintendo Switch Pro or Plus or Nintendo Switch Part 2. So, it's probably not going to be for another 3 to 4 years. Because this life cycle for the Nintendo Switch so far has only been, 2017 when it came out in March? Like, barely 2 years ago? Or 2 years and almost 3 months since the first Switch, which we have right now, has been out. So maybe like 2.5 years almost. So either 2024 or 2025. So like maybe another 5 or 6 years from now, we'll finally get another Nintendo Switch. Because usually a console's life cycle is between about 6, maybe 8 years at the most long. Most of the time it's 7, but it's either 6 to 8 years long most of the time. But probably plus... Not to mention, it's probably going to be the last time that Sony PS4 Pro and Nintendo Switch might be literally the last two consoles to put physical CDs and cartridges where you have to put them physically into the console and take it out, ever. Because the one after that, they might just all end up being cloud servers after that. I'm not trying to pull like a fucking Richer Review Tech USA on it, but I think cloud service games is unfortunately going to be the way to go. As somebody that collects a lot of physical, like, tangibility collector shit, I'm not a hardcore collector, but because, I don't have that much money. I do make a lot of money when I work at my job and shit, but most of it goes mainly on bills and taxes, just to barely even live in this fucking house. Since Vegas in another year or two for now, it's already becoming like Beverly Hills pretty soon. It's going to be almost impossible to live here soon. As long as I got my other two roommates living with me, I'm still able to pay for it, but it's getting harder almost every year to live this place, man. Honestly, it is. Besides a lot of the violence and shit that goes on in this city. Outside the Strip, I'm talking about, too. All you little touristy fans, you only look at the Strip ad. It won't fucking apply to you, which you're lucky. Unless you live in another big-ass touristy city, like we live, I don't know, Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, over there in Cali next door to me. Or if you live somewhere in New York City, New Jersey, Chicago, fucking Florida, Orlando, then it is what it is. Maybe you can relate to a certain extent. Other than that, overall thoughts, views, and opinions on this whole Direct as whole. The only two other things that I didn't like that they didn't show the Nintendo Switch Mini or Nintendo Switch Pro or Part 2 of that sequel of the console is, man. I really, really wish we would have seen something like Earthbound or Mother. That would have been awesome. Or a remake for, well, actually, no, that would have been for a Sony Direct, or Nintendo Sony Direct. Now, for a Sony press conference, was obviously they weren't fucking there at all because they completely jumped out of that freaking convention. They were not anywhere to be seen. Oh man, but if they would have been there, I would have loved to see a remake for the old school Rayman games or Ape Escape. That's what I would have really, really loved to see at the Series 3 if Sony would have been there. I know they weren't there though, unfortunately. So that means they're probably not gonna be till like around there October, November when they do their own personal private press conference. Maybe we'll get news from them when they go to Gamescom. Hopefully they go to Gamescom next month. Or maybe they'll go to the Tokyo Game Show. That'll be cool. Or at the Video Game Awards. Either way, that's cool. Either way. Oh, and I did hear a lot of extra fucked up news that when I was watching the Nintendo Treehouse, it's 110% confirmed for Pokemon Sword and Shield. For all my Pokemon fans out there, I'm not sure if this thing's even recording. Hopefully it still is. And yes, it is. About 15-20 minutes. Holy shit, I've been rambling like a crazy mother effer. The thing that pissed me off about Sword and Shield is that there's not going to be no more brand new Mega Evolutions. The older Mega Evolutions are not Mega Evolutions. Mega Evolutions. Yeah, I was right. The original ones aren't going to be in there. Alolan variants, I don't think they're going to be in there either. So it's literally, and anything that's outside of the Pokédex, which is the National Dex, I think the whole National Dex of all the other original Pokemon in older games, none of them are going to be allowed to go into Sword and Shield. That pissed me off a little bit. Honestly, I was a little bit triggered that Junichi Masuda or Shigeru Omori or whoever was the executive order person, director, producer, or the Mr. Ishihara that was president of Nintendo. I'm not sure who made the decision to make this happen, but that triggered me a tiny bit in a negative way. Because I really, really love playing with all Pokemon from all the other generations. And to have them not all be in Sword and Shield and they're only going to focus on this Dynamax mode, which I'm not really crazy about, but whatever, fucking okay. It's a little bit sad. It broke me mentally and emotionally. It broke my heart a little bit knowing I'm not going to be able to play with old school Pokemon that I grew up with that aren't going to be in the Dex. Kind of sucks. Unless they're a super fan favorite one, they'll probably add them to the Dex. I don't know. And another thing I was a little sad about is that, man, bro, I don't think there's not going to be like any other evolutions of Pokemon that are going to be like variants. They didn't say nothing about, because I know I heard leaks at Farfetch and Meowth and fucking, I think, Psyduck or a few other old school Gen 1 Pokemon. And I think they said something about Lapras having a Galar variant.